Today we're going to be covering NotebookLM basics. So I hope you enjoy this session. If you're new to NotebookLM or you're curious as to how it works, this is a great session for you to attend. You get there by notebooklm.google.com. I've already logged into my account and I have several projects in here already. I am going to show you one just to kind of give you a feel for what it looks like. So I have a statement of work that I've done for a client. I have several files of information that talk about how to structure your business using AI. Now, how this works is I simply said add source, copied and pasted information that I created into this text box. It then brought it into the source panel. And then you can see here, here's exactly verbatim what the source information looked like. It doesn't have to be formatted real well. It's going to leverage the LLM technology as it is summarizing and going through and structuring and organizing your information. The center panel will create a default summary of what it sees within the source information. One of the things that's important to know, and we'll go through this again in a few minutes, all the check boxes are checked. And that means that if you're doing anything in the chat window, it's going to leverage all the information that's in the source. You can deselect by clicking at the top. And then if I only want to talk about machine to machine AI communication for that document, this is Gemini. This is the LLM that you're familiar with. I can ask it, please provide a brief 2-sentence summary on what is in this source document. So this source document outlines a fundamental shift in business operations for human-operated software interfaces to direct machine-to-machine interactions. Okay, that's pretty good. What's really cool about this is it actually uses a source to show you where it got the information from. And then it'll provide some follow-up questions here. Now, the third panel are tools that are built in native into the product. They're continually updating this. These are very unique ways to delve into your data. I wanted to create a presentation for my client. I needed a creative yet unique way to do this. One of the things that we talked about is the future state workforce model. So the details of this obviously aren't relevant for today. I'm just trying to show you, here's what the different graphics that it was able to create for me. And again, when I was creating this information, I was selecting the appropriate source document, and then I was selecting the tool that I wanted and giving it some information. As an overview, you have your source panel. You can bring in sources from files that you upload from website, YouTube, Google Drive, copy paste. The center panel is a LLM that you can ask questions of. We're going to look at some pretty cool features here in a second. And then finally, in the third panel is your native tool set that will automatically create output for you based on the inputs that you select. To start a new project, really easy. We just hit create new project. Today is going to be a demo. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a very simple example. First, let's go back to our ChatGPT window. So let's just say hypothetically, like today, I was doing a presentation on this and I wanted to show this information in a more visually appealing format. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to simply copy this information, and then I'm going to go to add sources, copy text, and then I'm going to paste it in here, and I'm just going to insert it. You're going to see it show up over here, and it says pasted text, and we'll just save it as such. Okay, now I have a couple different things I can do right now. So first is in the center panel, we can now ask Gemini, can I just get 3 bullet points with no explanation, just provide the headers? So let's see what we get. Okay, so you can see here, it just gave us the headers. Again, it has source for its reference. Now, here's what's really powerful. Now that I had this information, all I have to do now is save to note. This is one of the most powerful features of NotebookLM, and probably the best one I can show you today. Is now that you've saved this notebook clip from the LLM center panel, you can now convert this to a source. So what this means is you can bring in big bulky data into your source, refine it with your LLM, save it as a note, and then simply convert that note to a source document. Okay, now what does that do for us? In this case, we have the raw information that we imported, and now we have the refined note that I put in there. So what I want to do is I now want to create some type of infographic. Please select my refined source document. I am going to go into infographic, and we're just going to do something real simple. In future sessions, we're going to get into how you describe what you want your output to be. This gets a little bit complex, but let's just use the basics right now. I have several different versions that I can do, up to and including bricks. I can do it instructional. I have the opportunity to do anime. So let's just do anime. We can make it concise. We can make standard. We can make detailed. And then you can do varying formats. So we're just going to do landscape. We're going to pick anime, and let's do concise, and we're just going to hit generate. Okay, so now what you're going to notice is when it's cooking, it's going to show you these arrows that's rotating. If you leave the document, it'll send you a notification if you have it set up to let you know when it's done. Or if you want, you can move on to a different document. So let's just say, hypothetically, I want to create a quiz. Okay, so we're going to say we're just going to use the standard default. We're going to make the level easy, and then we're just going to click generate. So now we have two documents that are being created. I don't know what it's going to come up with. Let's just see, and then we'll go from there. So it looks like the quiz got done first. Okay, so let's look at what this is. What is the primary information source that NotebookLM uses to generate a response? The entire public internet, social media feeds, user-provided documents and links, pre-trained knowledge, pre-trained general knowledge only. So let's do C. Okay, so when I'm right, it tells me, great, you got that right. It's highlighted in green. Awesome. If I choose something else, so let's go to the next question. How does NotebookLM handle citations? Citations are based strictly on the material provided. Let's pick another. I believe that's the answer. Let's pick, so this one says not quite because I pick C, but then it'll also show you what the right answer is at the same time. This created a quiz on the fly, and we'll talk about use cases and stuff in future videos. Now, while we were messing around with that, our infographic was created. And here we are, NotebookLM, master your knowledge, transform your personal documents into a powerful interactive AI thinking tool. It's got the anime graphics. They look great if this is your target audience. Driven entirely by your source document, input quality dictates output quality, and your personal thinking partner. This is beautiful. For something that is right out of the box, that we've done in less than 20 minutes using one or two questions within ChatGPT, cut and pasted that as our source document. Then we went and refined it, saved it as a note, and then converted it back to a new source document, and then leveraged it to create an infographic and a quiz. So today we're going to be short and sweet. This is the main lesson. Sign up for NotebookLM. I'll put a link below in the description. Give it a try. And then in the next session, we're going to dive in, go a little bit deeper in some of the feature sets and some of the things that are inherent within the application. For those who are watching these videos, if you'd like to see more, sign up for AI Bits and Pieces. It is free for those who are new to the AI world under our AI Curious and AI Enthusiast categories. It's on the school platform, very intuitive to use. I post new information continually throughout the week. A lot of great information, great tutorials for you to get started on. And we have over 600 people in the community now, so feel free to ask questions. Again, I'll put the link in the description below. Have a great day.